Welcome to Bitcoin. All roads lead to BTC.
This executive order will allow 401k investors to access alternative assets, including cryptocurrencies, private equity, and real estate. This is just the president's latest move towards embracing digital assets, and it would be a big boost to the sector. This order directs the SEC, Labor, and Treasury departments to help investors get access to those assets by revising regulations and guidance. Now, this could open up a vast new funding source to managers of alternative assets outside of stocks, bonds, and cash.
Welcome to Bitcoin. 2 months ago, President Trump signed an executive order 14,330, allowing the democratization of access into retirement. And this executive order, for the first time, would allow people to invest into Bitcoin and crypto within their 401ks. Now, for folks who are into politics, they may know that an executive order is somewhat like a band-aid. They're temporary and they only pertain to the sitting administration. However, today, a bill was just released to codify that executive order and to further pave the way to Bitcoin and crypto getting into retirement. So the global allocation of retirement funds is around $60 trillion. That's a huge number. Now, when you focus on America, it's about 36 trillion. It was mentioned on an analysis before that every 1% allocation of retirement funds into Bitcoin will boost the price $30,000. That's a pretty big deal. And now that a bill has been introduced, once this makes its way to the president's hand and is signed into law, we're going to see the floodgates open. Now, the conservative case was like 5% is allocated into Bitcoin, boosting the price up to, let's just say, 270K per coin. However, if we're going to go for the bullish scenario, considering 10, 15, 20, and there's going to be folks who are going to go in 100% allocation into Bitcoin, the price is about to get ridiculous. We had a dip, we had some turbulence, but something tells me things are about to take off. Representative Troy Downing from Montana introduced a bill today called the Retirement Investment Choice Act, which is going to codify President Trump's executive order to allow folks to invest their 401ks into Bitcoin and crypto. This is huge for several reasons. Number go up. As we mentioned, every 1% allocated from retirement plans into Bitcoin is going to drive the price up around 30 grand. But at the same time, liberation for the people. Now, the conventional means of retirement has always been the 401k, buy into the S&P 500, and then just ride the dividends. I'm not saying that model is broken. This is not financial advice. However, with the past years of inflation compared to the, let's call it 8 to 12% average returns of the S&P 500, it's just not making sense. And do the due diligence. Bitcoin, since conception, we're talking about 16 years, has grown over 500,000%. And it's most likely to continue that momentum. So for folks who are investing their money from a retirement perspective, their money's going to go a lot further. It's going to grow a lot. And it's going to be, what's the best way to put it? There's going to be little impact from inflation because the value of the dollar will continue to go down and Bitcoin will continue to go up. Another benefit for the people is, let's just say you're starting your retirement late. And if you're trying to, they say that you need about $1 million or so to retire comfortably. I dare say that number has gone up substantially, but for this scenario, let's just say you need $1 million. To do so, pecking away, grinding away, and even with company matching your contributions, that's a hard objective to meet, even if you start out working in your 20s and your 30s, let alone if you're getting into planning your retirement late in the game. For those who are planning their retirement late in the game, Bitcoin seems to be that way, just because it's the trajectory of the growth. And just look at the charts, the numbers don't lie. This thing's going to keep going up forever. So this bill is very exciting because of what it's going to do to the Bitcoin price, but also what it's going to do for people in their retirement savings. In other news, Jack Dorsey's company Square is now allowing merchants to conduct Bitcoin payments using his app. And this is pretty impressive because Satoshi's vision, dream, or intents for Bitcoin was for it to be used as money. And for a long time, it seemed like Bitcoin was just an investment tool. You hold Bitcoin, you hodl it, and you just sit on it and watch it grow. And that's a fine strategy. However, in order for Bitcoin to grow, and Jack Dorsey mentioned before that Bitcoin will die if it's not being used as money. And so him rolling out this technology, allowing everyday merchants to use Bitcoin for transactions is really great. Here's a clip on a coffee shop using it to conduct Bitcoin payments for their everyday business.
We're here at Compass Coffee, and we're going to be filming the first Bitcoin transaction using Square. So, sir, what can I get for you?
I'd love a pumpkin spice latte if you have any.
Yeah, we got a PSL for you. There's no need to be embarrassed.
All right, awesome. How many sats is that going to be?
That's going to be 6,526 sats.
All right, perfect. Just happen to have some sats on me.
Thank you, Walter.
There we go. Pay 6,000 sats.
So sick. All right.
That's just that.
Thank you very much.
That's the beauty of Bitcoin, Lightning Network.
That's awesome. Shake and Stake has been using Bitcoin for their payments. They've been accepting Bitcoin, and they've been bragging about how they're saving money on transaction fees, and it's just they're taking the initiative to accept BTC payments. This is really cool. It's not so much a drawback, but where I see the dollar's relationship with Bitcoin is not that Bitcoin's going to kill the dollar and we're just going to use Bitcoin. I still see items being priced in dollars and a dollar equivalent amount of Bitcoin being used to pay for them. If you notice in the video, the gentleman mentioned that the pumpkin spice latte was around 6,000 sats. I don't know about you, but it's hard for me to conceptualize Satoshis. Like whenever I have to make payments in Bitcoin, I have to go to Google, look at the Bitcoin price, and then more or less do the math. Oh, this is $1,000. That's 0.010 BTC. And that was arbitrary. I could be off, so keep me honest, folks. But Bitcoin is totally going to be used for payments, and it already is. However, the dollar must remain just as an idea. Imagine trying to buy a stick of gum and paying, I don't know how much gum costs these days. It used to be 25 cents in my day. I'm showing my age. Now, let's just say it's $1. To just throw out arbitrarily what sats, the pricing in sats, a lot of folks may not understand. You may have people who feel they're getting ripped off, and you may have bad actors who are deliberately ripping people off because people can't do the conversion. It's almost like being in a foreign country and not knowing the conversion rate. I recall being in Thailand. They use bots over there. And I tipped the bartender, and she was like super gracious. And I was like, oh man, did I just give her like $1,000 or something? Because I didn't know the conversion rate. And Bitcoin and Sats can kind of run into that still. The technology is phenomenal. I totally see prices in dollars remaining, just paying the Bitcoin equivalent. And there's even credit card companies that are partnering with Bitcoin, and they'll give you cash back, rather sats back for purchases. It's really cool. I love where this is heading. Wow. MasterCard is getting ready for Bitcoin payments. What do you think? Are we on our way to instilling a Bitcoin standard? Only time will tell. Catch you on the next episode.